Guys, almost 2 years ago, I left the USA with only 1,500 to my name. Now, of course, that was a very bad decision back then. I had no income coming in, but all I knew was that I had to make a change in my life because back then it was just literally me, my parents playing video games, smoking weed, working at a gas station and a restaurant. And things were just kind of staying the same. It was just very complacent, very mediocre. Nothing was really happening in my life. It was just very boring, to be absolutely honest with you guys. So that's when I thought to myself, okay, well, I kind of need to make a change. I need to get out of this position because what kind of man am I if I'm 20 years old, living with my parents, all the bills are paid for, and everything is kind of just given to me, and I'm not able to have a challenge for myself to put myself in a position that I don't know if I'm going to get out of it. Because that's really the reason I actually went to Bangkok in the first place, is because I was just ultimately bored. I mean, a lot of guys, we have a war instilled mindset in us that we need something to fight for. We need a challenge. We need a problem in the real world, or else we're going to start creating problems for ourselves. And that's why a lot of people, they give into porn, drugs, alcohol, all of these different problems, because they don't have any real problems for themselves. Everything is a little bit too easy. Thus, they start creating problems for themselves and start having that war inside themselves instead of having a war in the actual world. So that's really one of the main reasons I went to Bangkok, Thailand with like 1,500 with no income at all. But of course, that wasn't the absolute main reason. I also came out here because I had a dream for myself to be able to go wherever I wanted, whenever I wanted, with who I actually wanted to go there with, while making money at the exact same time. So after doing a lot of research, looking at different places in the world like Miami, Dubai, Bangkok, which is where I went, I found out that Bangkok, Thailand was definitely the best place to go for me because there's so many digital nomads out here. It was very cheap. The weather was beautiful. The women were beautiful. And I just thought, okay, well, that's probably the best option for me. I have 1,500 right now, no income. Dubai, I mean, it would have been very good, but I only had a little bit saved up, so that wouldn't have lasted me very long in Dubai or Miami as well. So that's why I ultimately decided Bangkok as well, because it was just cheaper, the weather is good, and it was close to Koh Samui as well, which is like the first kind of thing that popped up on my YouTube channel. Not on my YouTube channel, but on my YouTube feed on when I was sitting in my room, figuring out a way to escape the life that I was living, to go after something new. I was watching these people in Koh Samui live it up. They were just driving on bikes, sparring, going to the beach, smoking shisha, smoking cigars, doing all this fun stuff. And they were all living lives very lavishly. And I was thinking to myself, okay, well, they look my age. How are they actually making money? How are they living out there and surviving with living in Thailand? Because I mean, obviously they're not going to be working at 7-Eleven or a gas station, or they're not a Grab driver. There's got to be a way that they're actually making money online to sustain that lifestyle. So while watching this YouTube video, I was digging around in the description. I found this link to this landing page, which I joined. It was $5,000 down the drain. And I didn't even know what I was buying, to be completely honest. But I mean, I was already spending $100 a day on video game skins. So I was why not? I mean, I might as well just spend 5 bands and see what happens. And with that 5 bands, it got me access to this network, of which I met very good people, a lot of my good friends now. And yeah, then I just booked a one-way to Bangkok, Thailand, because a lot of those people that are in that network were living out here in Bangkok, Thailand. So that's when I decided for myself, okay, well, Dubai's a little too expensive, so is Miami, so I'm gonna go straight to Bangkok. And that's exactly what I did to get out of that life that I was living of complacency, mediocrity, and pure comfort. Now, a lot of people, they want to save up $5,000, $10,000, maybe $25,000 before they go anywhere in the world. But for myself, I was like, okay, well, this is a very fun challenge. I have 1,500 to my name in my pocket, and all I have is a dream in my hand. So I went out here to Bangkok, Thailand with 1,500, no income whatsoever. Now, I did have this offer that I was on as a setter for a B2B company, which I had very high hopes for. I thought it was going to save me from eating the bugs out here in Bangkok, Thailand. But after 30 days, 40 days of setting, making calls in my Airbnb, guess what? I made $0. So panic kind of set in. I was like, okay, well, how am I going to start paying for the bills, for food, all this type of stuff? And then I started panicking a little. My scarcity mindset kicked in, my NPC mode. I was like, oh shit, do I have to go home? Do I have to go back to that life that I was living? I was like, no. My pride kicked in, my ego kicked in. I was like, nah, I'm not going home a loser. I have to find a way to make this work. And that's exactly what I did. With the few dollars I had left, I had probably like 40 to 60. I started networking within this group that I paid $5,000 for in the beginning of the video, and I met the right person at the right time and actually landed a good role in remote sales as a setter. And this is a crazy story, guys. The first night the offer started, it was a very new offer. It was like this B2C offer, this day trading offer with Juvier Gyms, if you guys know who that is. And yeah, I was setting it was literally the first call, I believe. It was the first or second call. But I was a setter at the time. I was calling up this lead, and he had all this pain just drowned out to me on this first phone call. And I was just listening. I had no idea how to close. I had no idea. I had no sales skill sets at the time. I was very brand new. Of course, I did cold calling and stuff, but that's not really sales skills. That's just something an AI could do. But yeah, on this first call, I was just listening to this guy pretty much almost cry about all these problems he was having with day trading. So I was just listening very intently. I kind of forgot I was broke at the time. I was like, oh, shit, this guy has some pretty big problems. And I was like reading the deliverables for the offer that I was selling for. I was like, oh shit, I mean, I could just sell this guy right here. He's saying all the problems and I have the solution right here. So I just started talking to him about like what's actually included with the mentorship with Juvier and all this type of stuff. He was like, oh my gosh, how much is it? And all this type of stuff. Like, he was a very hot lead, a very warm lead, already pretty much ready to buy it, which was very lucky for me. So I just told him the price, and guess what, guys? He bought right there on the setting call. At the time, the sun was rising. It was like 6 a.m. at the time in my first apartment, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're saved from eating the bugs. And luckily enough for me, the CSO of the offer that I was on at the time, he pretty much knew my entire situation, that I was pretty brand new to sales, brand new to the remote sales space, and that I was pretty much flat broke. So right after I got this sale on my first call as a setter, he literally paid me straight away the commission I got from that sale. And guess what, guys? I was free from eating the bugs. I could go out and buy a big juicy steak and celebrate the comeback story of my lifetime. So that's pretty much the most exciting time that I had in a very long time. I think it was like almost 2 years ago now when that happened. And it was just such a surreal experience. I remember the sun rising. I was getting teared up looking at the sun. It was like a whole movie scene. Like, I was flat broke. I made my first dollars. I was climbing back out of hell pretty much. Like, I was looking at the sunrise. I was like, oh my gosh, I finally made it. I see this opportunity ahead of me. There's no way I'm stopping now. So that motivation, that sale I got, my dopamine levels literally got spiked to the moon. And I was thinking to myself, wow, I actually made it. Even though it was a very small commission compared to like what I'm making now, it was still it was my first little dollars that I made online, which I thought was impossible because I was in remote sales for the first 3 to 4 months and made $0 my first few months. So now I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I'm actually able to make money anywhere in the world now. I can go where I want, when I want. Like, my whole reality just expanded and my mind opened up to new realms of like what's actually possible in this life. So then after that first sale, I just literally like made a few more sets and then just went to bed, just sitting in my room. I was like, oh my gosh, this was so worth it. I'm glad I didn't just go home. I'm glad I didn't give up. I'm glad I was able to push through to see what was actually possible on the other side. So that's why I'm making this video to you guys, to hopefully inspire a few of you who are maybe trying to make money online with either remote sales, day trading, e-commerce, whatever it is. It's all possible. All of these businesses work online, and a lot of people, they think they're scams. The courses are scams, mentorships are scams. These businesses are all fake, they don't work, but that's just not the case. All of these businesses work. It's just ultimately the people that fail in these businesses that make it kind of a bad look. Because whenever you're going down these businesses, you get informed optimism when you start off. You see someone make money with day trading online, right? And you're like, oh, well, I can do that too. So you start learning maybe a few months in, and then there's no results. Guess what? You're gonna quit, and then you see e-commerce. You're like, oh, there's people making e-commerce. They're making $20,000 a month anywhere in the world. I can do that as well. A few months in, you're learning, trying new things. Guess what? No results as well. So you quit that and try something else. Do you guys kind of see what I'm getting at? Like, you don't try hard enough for long enough. All it really takes to make it with any business is time plus intensity plus consistency. And as long as you apply that formula to any online business or even a physical business, you're going to be able to pass through all the obstacles, the adversities, and break through to the other side where you actually become successful. And I'm a living proof of that. I could have given up. I could have gone home and worked at racetrack and Red Lobster again and just lived a shitty, mediocre life. But you have to have a little bit of pride. You have to have a little bit of ego to know for yourself that you're not going to give up when things get hard, and that you're going to push through until they actually make it work and until you actually reach your goals. Because a lot of people, they're not going to believe in you. My parents, my family, a lot of them didn't believe in me. But as long as you believe in yourself, in your ability, and in your confidence to actually achieve your goal, even through the hard times, the adversities, when you're absolutely flat broke and you always have that inner belief in yourself, it's inevitable that you will be guaranteed to succeed as long as you hold that deep inner belief inside. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you guys tomorrow.